with Harmony of the Mind. I walk the line.
What's up, everybody? This is Rodney again, the Thin Line Show. Today we're going to go into Cookville, so grab your aluminum hat and tin foil it up because, gee, today we're going crazy.
Yes, sir. We are going to investigate suppressed technologies, stuff that is out there, but you don't have access to it. Seriously.
So, suppressed technology, most people, including me, when you say that, the first thought is going to always go to like some kind of weird guns and like I've seen the military where they got those guns that shoot around the corners now
Yes.
and stuff like that. I don't want to spend time on the
Secret military aircraft kind of thing.
yeah like
Yeah.
aircraft. Ooh, we got something that goes faster.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
Cool. Okay, that's not a thing for you and me, but
Right.
yeah.
It's nothing special. So we're going to talk about some of the other stuff.
Yes.
Maybe get people thinking
Absolutely.
and yeah, kind of go out in left field a little bit. So we're not going to do the aircraft thing, but I think the natural leapfrog event for aircraft is going to be the whole anti-gravity thing. Like
Yes.
at that point, that opens up doors where you still go faster, what have you, big deal. But now we can hover, we can do all this stuff.
Anti-gravity. Is that a thing? Really?
There's a lot of footage out there that
Something?
something's using it.
Something's going on, no doubt. There's no
So
argument about that.
right, so the technology exists. I mean, that's debatable if it's us, is it Russia, even from Earth? Who knows? But
I've seen videos where, yes, that's demonstrated. But small
yeah,
scale balsa wood structures that, yes, do float.
right. And so anti-gravity opens the doors, I think, for the next, I don't know what you want to call it, generation. Kind of like when we went from typewriter to the computer, all the doors that it opened up.
Absolutely.
Anti-gravity, if you look at it, um, I, I don't know if it's using a push, like I'm pushing against this table to stay elevated, or am I pulling towards something? I would, maybe you're creating a plus and a minus charge. You're doing both. I don't know.
That's what I've seen. I've seen demonstrations that involve electricity, and there's clearly a repulsive force going on.
Right.
That, yes, it enables the structure to float, levitate,
Right.
as it were.
And there's that whole other side of the equation. So if I'm repelling, like if I were to put a magnet here, negative side up, and I put a magnet up here on the negative side, it's just going to hover, right?
Right.
So it's just pushing against that magnet. But there's that whole other side of the equation, the pull factor, right?
Absolutely.
So if you applied a opposite charge ahead of me, and then a like charge behind me, you're essentially doubling your power or
maglev
thrust.
trains, maglev trains.
Yeah,
Those
so
those certainly exist.
so
But the question is, we've all seen UFO type footage
right,
of craft being able to perform extraordinary maneuvers very, very easily. Stuff that a normal airplane just simply isn't capable of, or if it were capable of it, it would kill the pilot. Just
right.
with
Well, I think that's the thing we got to tackle is anti-gravity. Let's just use it kind of on the y-axis, just going up and down
sure,
for an example. So in some of these videos, you can see a craft hovering, and it just beams up real quick,
right,
and
instant like,
instantly. And so what you said, that would kill us, right? So as the acceleration, you come up, it's pushing your blood out of your head and down into your feet, and that's what causes our pilots to black out, right?
right. They're
When we're
already
flying.
they're already blacking out in a regular airplane, and the airplane's not doing anything like some of the maneuvers we've
Right.
seen with UFOs, or use the new modern designation UAPs,
Right.
which I think the government invented to drift away from the whole UFO
Right.
thing. But
It means the same thing.
it means the same thing. It means the same thing.
So how can we tackle this? So let's say we have a UFO now that can, the ability to just hover and float with anti-gravity. We're going to need this technology to be able to turn 90 degrees full speed. You've seen some of these videos too, like they're traveling and it just arcs over
Absolutely.
instantly. And again, the G-forces that would kill any human.
The human body cannot withstand that. So the argument is whatever influence they've made on the aircraft must affect the occupants too.
Right. Well, I saw that there's an interview guy. I don't remember if it was, who's the two guy. I know there's Bob Lazar, Stephen Greer, all these people, but there's
Yes.
one of these real big scientist people that claims they know how the technology works. Is they have a special metal material that lines the outer edge of the craft.
outer
The
edge.
entire craft is made of this material. And then they're sending, it was astronomical, like 110, 150,000 volts.
Right, a stupid amount of current.
So we
yeah.
have to have power technology.
Well, you've got
as
to
well
generate
do
that power too. So
And-
there's that.
That craft with that metal at that specific frequency of AC current flowing in it, that the mass essentially equates to zero. So the mass
Right.
of the ship.
Right.
And my thought process is, if, like, let's say me and you's in the ship, if the ship's mass is zero, I guess essentially
By default,
our
are
mass
we massless at that
That's what
point?
I would love. Maybe somebody listening is some kind of astrophysicist can answer. I mean, how would that work?
How would that? Now, in my research, I found that the Air Force B-2 and B-21 bombers, apparently, they must have let it slip, I think, somehow, but the outer surface, the leading and trailing edge of the wings have high voltage current running through them
Right.
or around them. And to me, that sort of equates to exactly what you're talking about. So,
Right.
do the B-2 and B-21 bombers already have a sort of anti-gravity
Well, I wonder if, like,
technology
they
built
were,
in?
version 1.0.
Version
Like,
1.0.
it don't make the plane massless, but maybe it reduces it. Because if you reduce the mass of the plane 10%, that's still going to save so much fuel economy. Like
That means longer range, maybe
Yes.
maybe bigger bomb load.
Exactly.
I don't know, because the B-2 carries a boatload of bombs.
Right. Well, that'd be interesting. So, I think that's a way around the infamous, the force and the physics that you can't deny, right? Force equals mass times acceleration. So
Yes, simple
if
physics.
you can't change acceleration because you're moving, right?
You can't change the
you
laws of
turn-
simple physics,
Right.
but
But you can change.
if you
that
change the
mass.
variables of that
Right,
equation,
and I think that's where they're tinkering with. So we can't change acceleration. You change direction, obviously
right.
you got a different angle.
If you change the mass variable of
Right.
that equation,
Then you
don't-
can turn.
exactly.
And if you're on the plane and its mass is zero, like maybe somebody could answer, is it no gravity at all on the plane? You got to stay strapped down to a chair. Can you stand up and it's just no force? Or I
Right.
would be interested to.
Okay, let's say you achieve that with the craft.
Right.
Does that also include the occupants of the craft? I really don't know.
Right. That
Because
would be interesting to see, though. I don't know a way to test.
because maybe the craft can turn like that, but what if the occupants end up as a puddle of blood on the wall of
Right.
the inside? Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, gravity is different from mass. If you're in space, obviously things are weightless, right?
Right.
But a big satellite still has mass. You can't be doing a spacewalk and push a satellite by yourself. It still has mass, yet it's weightless. So, very interesting. Can you eliminate mass?
I think
By
that's the way you have to tackle it. Is it has to be a way.
far out, far out?
Yeah.
Yeah, my big question is does making the aircraft weightless does that somehow transfer to the occupants inside?
Right. Well, if you hit a good point, talking about the planes and stuff, like the fuel economy. Right?
Sure.
So with this kind of technology, obviously fuel economy will increase. And God knows I've read many articles on like engine designs for cars that clearly get 100 miles a gallon,
The 100 mpg carburetor, sure.
and
Is
it
it out
never
there?
gets it. Yeah.
Is it out there? Why is it not
There's
out
so
there?
many designs, like the wobble plate. I remember
The
reading
wobble
up,
plate thing,
and
yes.
these carburetor designs, 100 mpg. Where is it? So I'm thinking these gas companies are so scared it's going to mess with their profits that maybe, I don't know, did they send their little men in black? Do they have like a little section like, hey, we need
Do
you
they
to,
have a crew to
yeah,
respond to such things?
right? They come knock on your door and say, I don't think this is going to make it to market.
Here's a check. Maybe you'll shut up.
Yeah. Well, no, maybe.
Or, yeah, no, no, maybe. No, here's a nice check, but you're going to shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up or
Um,
else.
Or else.
So,
Or else.
well, I think that's it's an evil world we live in when companies with so much power and control can make those kind of decisions where no, I don't think I'm going to let this technology that would benefit the entire world, I can't let it come out because it's going to hurt my pocketbook.
Absolutely. Someone's going fishing in your pond, and yeah, that's just not going to happen.
Right.
End of story.
So what kind of power do they have then over
Enormous
government?
power. Enormous power.
And I bet
They can influence laws.
so Trump's won the election,
Okay.
and he's made statements that Elon Musk is going to audit all these
Indeed.
government places. Like,
Indeed.
do you think anything like that's going to come out where the big oil is? Because we know for a fact that it's the you scratch my back, I'll scratch
Oh,
yours.
oh, please. Of course that's going on.
Right. Pass laws to benefit my company and my livelihood, and I'll make a nice fat check donation to your political
Oh, the list
party.
is almost ended. The big oil, big insurance, big data, whoever. Yeah, big credit card companies. Yeah,
Right.
they influence lawmaking.
Right. And so how do we get to the next phase? If they have this men in black division that they will send out to you and be like, hey, because like you said, all these inventions, where are they?
Well, there are many instances where either the person has shut up and they just go off the radar, or they wind up missing, or their business just gets utterly and completely destroyed with a barrage of questionable lawsuits, and they have to defend themselves against a multitude of lawsuits.
Someone like me or you, just normal,
Oh, we don't have
average, everyday citizens,
we don't
can't-
have the horsepower to
right.
do anything like
will-
that. Yeah.
We kind of seen this with Trump. Like, look at what they charged him with, lawsuit after lawsuit, and I don't want to know how many millions of dollars that it took just for him to prove, hey, I didn't do this. But if you didn't have the millions, you're you're found guilty. Like, think about that for a lawsuit stance where I could come up to you, G, and say, you punched me yesterday and broke my nose. You owe me 20 grand, and if I sue you and you don't have it, I'll win the case because you
I
can't
can't defend myself
yourself.
against the charges. Yeah, I don't have the financial horsepower to defend myself against a barrage of lawsuits. Trump does, so there you
Right.
go. We've all heard rumors of the 100-mile-an-hour type carburetor, and there have been several examples of that, and they all either disappear or the inventor disappears or something like that.
Well, they did it to Tesla, Nikola Tesla. Remember when they came in and raided and took a lot of his carts? Like
They
he had these crates.
they did, yeah. After his death, like what
Yeah.
half? I don't remember. Half of his materials went missing after the FBI investigated his residence.
Right. And like who knows what he had? Well, he Tesla was mainly, I think, taken out of work because he claimed to have capabilities to transmit free energy. So gather energy essentially that the earth is already generating that's just wasting away.
Yes.
So we can gather this energy.
All this electromagnetic or whatever energy.
Yeah. And he had a way to transmit it. So
Yes.
I think from what I read, from what made sense to me, I'm not a astrophysicist, but computer engineering, it made sense. So like inductors, the coil, right?
Yes.
So that stores the energy in the magnetic field.
Yes.
So as current flows, you create a current.
Yeah. How does that thing with your hand work? I can't.
Current flows in the thumb. It's either one.
Is it my left hand or right hand?
My teacher's gonna kill me. It's either
Yeah, I remember this in engineering
Right.
school, but I
right. So
yeah,
it's the curl, whatever way it thumbs the current. The
can't
current.
remember.
Right. Sorry, teachers.
Sorry.
So,
Yeah, sorry. That's why I got the D.
so the inductor creates a magnetic field. So then you could unplug the battery, and that magnetic field is still pulling the electrons coming through. So you
Yes.
still get current coming, and then it tapers off, right? The magnetic
As
field
it winds
loses-
down, yeah.
Right. And the capacitors, so you have a charged plate, right?
Yes.
And the same thing happens with that, except it stores energy in the electric field.
Yes.
And so what Tesla was doing was, you know, the little cat lights, the little laser pointers that.
Oh, you drive your cat nuts with?
Yeah. So that's shooting the laser at one spot, right? Instead of, it's not a
Yes.
flashlight that's lighting
It's
up
not
the
a
whole
broad
area.
beam.
So it's all focused in that one spot, and that's what Tesla was doing.
Right.
He's
That's where
transmitting.
the energy goes,
Right.
right? It ends up at the end
Pinpoint.
of the beam. Yeah.
Right. And so you could transmit the power
You can transmit the power.
wirelessly.
Right. And it ends up like the laser dot at the end.
Yes.
There's your energy, right?
Yeah, so you essentially have like a, I don't know how it works, some kind of receiver, and you shoot the power to it. Like if you could have a house with essentially a little dish up top of your house or something, and you get beamed your power for free.
He was talking about, I'm going to say quote, but I'm paraphrasing, quote, abundant energy for everyone for free.
Right.
Something like that.
And so suppressed technologies, how
Well,
glorious that
his
would be.
big benefactor was Westinghouse. Is it George Westinghouse? He was the money enabling all this. But as soon as Tesla started talking about free energy for everyone,
Yeah.
somehow that money just went elsewhere.
Well, that's the
And he had built Wardenclyffe Tower to demonstrate all this,
right.
and they ended up scrapping everything.
Well, we live in North Carolina, so in our summers, like it's
Sure.
not as bad as it is in Vegas, but it's hot here, humid, and we have people die here every year. They don't have air conditioning, and
that is true. That
and
is true.
we have deaths every single year
Yeah,
in
it's
the
hot,
summertime.
it's hot and steamy here.
And
yeah.
so imagine if we had this technology, what would be anybody's excuse? Like everybody could run your air condition in
Your
the summertime.
AC,
Yeah,
yeah.
put it on 60 degrees in
no,
the summertime.
no worries. Yeah, no worries. Abundant free energy
Right.
for everyone, right?
But here's so let's say we invented a way to do it, right?
Right.
And we got all the parts, somehow rented a warehouse, off radar, no cameras, government didn't ever know it, and we stockpiled all of this technology where we can release millions of these units that provide the energy. We can't
Oh.
be stopped at this point,
Oh,
right?
ready to go to business
Right,
on day
so-
one. Yeah.
If we did that, we have So it's kind of maybe a double-edged sword. So how many jobs are held at the power people for
Fair.
the stuff? We talked about the gas and oil. How many jobs would be lost if we became unreliant? Like going back to that, hydrogen or something that's abundant. So we have infinite gas. We don't need to drill anymore. Earth's mainly made of water. So we use
Abundant
like
energy.
electrolysis or something, split the, hydrogen and the oxygen. You got two flammable gases.
Yeah, I did that in
Burn
high
that.
school. Yeah.
Comes with, like, you burn water.
Electrolysis. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it would put a major factor of people in the unemployment line.
Fair. But would those people find employment elsewhere
What I,
because of the new
well, see,
technology?
that's the thing. Like, I've heard a lot of people really are anti the self checkout, like at the grocery stores. I
Yeah.
personally like them. I love it. But they're like, I won't support people. So they go through the thing. And I'm like, you're supporting
You know what? I'm one of those people. I actually do that.
to go to the people.
I go to the people. Yeah.
But see, there's technology, there's companies that build that. And that it ain't just one company that builds the machine. There's
And
a company
support
that builds
that.
the
Yeah.
screen. The wires that go in it is bought from another company. So
Okay.
there's hundreds of companies that go into that are employed now because
But
Walmart's got a contract with
But
them or
let's be
something.
honest. I don't think we're talking about the peons doing the work on the
Well,
floor.
that's true.
We're talking about the boardroom.
Well, I think that's common in at, as mankind advances,
Yeah.
the number of peon jobs obviously diminishes.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
we got technology now. McDonald's, we want 18 an hour
If you want 18 or 20 bucks an hour, guess
for
what your
for
employees start
cash.
to look like? They look like a computer
Right.
kiosk.
Remember when they showed up that day? Here's your replacement. You stand up there,
Here's
touch
your
screen,
replacement. Yeah.
and I could
It's not
place
going
them.
to call in sick.
Right.
It's not going to bring drama to the
It's not going
workplace.
to go around
Yeah.
back and smoke dope on breaks and stuff.
No,
And so,
it's just going to do its job
yeah.
all day, every day.
And so there's this factor of that as well. Then, like,
Okay.
of as mankind advances, technology also, I guess, it raises the bar of what you've got to be. So these people that, wow, I never went to school, I never learned a trade skill, there's not going to be anything for that person to do. And I'm talking
Interesting.
fast forward way past our lifetime, but like there's not going to be a cashier job in probably 150 years.
Okay. I see that.
So the lowest peon job at that point is probably you're still going to have some kind of skill set to work on something because everything's digital now. Is
Okay. Example, you don't see an old time soda fountain at the pharmacy, like literally that used to be
I like
a
Andy
thing.
Griffith Day.
Like
Yeah,
Andy Griffith style.
yeah,
You don't see a soda dude running the fountain. No, you just don't do that.
right.
That's an obsolete job.
Yeah.
Quaint as it may have been, that's an obsolete job.
So now they probably got a contract with a company that comes in, fixes it, and
Oh, that sounds like a certain $1 billion restaurant chain that I know of. Yeah.
right that has problem with their milk,
With their
the ice
shake
cream.
machine. Yeah, don't get me started. I think it's been a year since I've had a McDonald's shake,
Right.
just because the
Right.
damn machine doesn't work. We all know
Right.
that. We all know that.
So
It's a meme.
the
Right.
how do you
Okay,
handle
we digress.
how how do you handle that? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I could see not a cut and dry. So not just instantly release a 200 mpg engine, right?
Right.
Because it
And flood the market with 100,000 engines
right.
all at once. What is
It's
big
a
oil
big
going to do?
change. It's a big change that lots of people may get laid off, fired in a cluster, right? So their logic is maybe we'll increment. So the average car's 30 miles per gallon. We're going to shoot to 35 and then 40 and then 45. We're slowly increase. But I'm not gonna lie
I
to you.
don't see that happening.
I haven't either. My truck still gets pretty shitty gas mileage.
Yeah.
So
Basically, yes.
I'm not seeing any improvement. And then it goes into the
I
should
don't
it be
think they-
mandated?
No, California has tried that, or who has tried that? So the government, somebody has tried to increase mandatory fuel mileage, and I'm not sure that's gone anywhere.
Right.
Um,
Well, you brought up California, so this whole energy craze now is I'm going to buy an electric car, right?
EVs, right?
Because I plug my car into essentially an outlet, and it's free energy. Like it's saving the planet. There's no gas.
No, sir, it is not doing.
What do you
that.
mean, G? It's
Dude,
there's a mouse in the wall on a hamster wheel, and it's creating free power. I don't know what you're talking about.
if you think you're saving the planet by plugging your EV into the wall, I'm sorry, folks, you're sorely mistaken.
So
That power is generated by a fossil fuel plant,
right.
or maybe a nuke.
But we can't handle the electricity needs
No,
of today.
California's already having brownouts now,
And he's mandating now.
and now
all
you're going
cars
to
be
plug
electric.
1,000,000 electrical vehicles into the wall.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Right. And so that has to be I don't know, like a consequence of your technology release to the public that I don't think a lot of people realize that technology has to be kind of evaluated maybe. Can the public handle this technology?
Well, one thing our devoted listeners may want to investigate is the Inventions Secrets Act of 1951. Yes, that is a thing. It evolved out of World War II when obviously we wanted to protect inventions that could be of use to the enemy as well. Those inventions were locked away by the government. We all understand why. However, the Act of 1951 made such provisions permanent, and now there are approximately 1,760 something patents locked away that have been deemed not to be released to the public.
Wait, so just to clarify, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah.
So you're like, let's say I invented a 400 mile per gallon
Sure.
engine. So you're saying if some guy smoking a cigar up there says, I don't think so today, buddy.
The Invention Secret Act of 1951 allows for a multitude of government agencies to examine patents, and if any one of those agencies decide this is classified stuff, so be it. And I don't think the patent holder is going to get a dime of compensation.
Wow.
Like, it's just locked
So
away.
that sounds like the what's the term, like when the government says, I see you own this land, but yeah, we're going to 4-lane a highway, and so they do what they want.
Eminent domain.
Eminent domain.
Yes.
So to me it sounds like same thing with technology. Then
Indeed, same thing.
they can be
yes.
like, no, I don't think you're going to release this
No,
technology.
your house that happens to be in the way of a future highway off-ramp,
Yeah.
guess what?
Right.
I
We're
don't
not
care.
giving you a choice.
Yeah, no, you're selling it. Yeah.
Right. And so they have control over your land. They have control. Now, what you say is they have control over you releasing technology to the public.
Absolutely. If you invent
That's pretty
something,
scary, dude.
okay, please, everyone look that up. Invention Secret Act of 1951. Please look it up. It's a thing.
So that's government. Wow. So this is going to end up leading to government essentially has you by the balls then.
Indeed. If you invent something incredible, there's no guarantee that that's actually going to get out there.
And I wonder if you be like, screw you. Let's say you're independently Elon Musk wealthy and you tried.
I'm
What-
not sure that's a good move for you.
What? Yeah. Does
I'm
government come knock on your door?
certainly not a legal expert, but if you were in violation of the Invention Secret Act of 1951, probably not a good move for you legally.
right? I'm pretty sure it's
Probably
probably
not.
going to be. You're probably going to be right there beside the guy that was going to testify
If you
against
invented
Hillary.
the hundred, if you came up, yeah, we all know how that ends. If you invented a new 100 mile per gallon carburetor and just made it anyways, even though you were clearly fishing in Big Oil's pond, I'm not sure that would work out well for you.
Well, here's. I have a theory. I have a theory. Get your opinion on this. So, let's say the average car, if you were to divide up everything, let's just say it gets 25 miles per gallon. Average, if you average all
That's probably
what
right.
everybody's spending, you release this technology. Somehow it clears all that act. Government can't stop you, and it hits the market. You've somehow magically bypassed it, and it got to market.
Yes.
And cars now are getting 100 miles per gallon.
Yeah, you actually did it. Yeah.
I have a theory that big oil then's going to be like, oh, you think you're going to save money. So price of gas now will go up to where you're essentially paying the same amount of money to go 1 mile if you did the math on it. They would just increase it to where,
Right. The gas will now be $20 a gallon.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Sure.
and so it goes up where, yeah, you're maybe saving the planet, but you ain't saving no money.
No, dude, they've already tried to do that or threatened to do that with firearms. Like, oh, we can't necessarily, quote, ban guns, but guess what? We're going to do the ammo. Yeah, it's going to
Yeah.
be taxed 300%.
What do you remember when the blasting caps?
Blasting caps, yeah.
So was that a dry run to see, hey,
Absolutely. No, that sort of thing, exactly what you're talking about, has already been talked about in other venues.
right?
Yeah.
Well, even with power, the solar panel crap that people don't get me started on the ads that you see
Solar-
constantly.
Solar panels are not that efficient.
No, they're terrible. And when
They-
they come and quote you on, oh, it's going to only take 10 years to pay off, they'll look at the day one when you install it, it's this amount of power generated, but as the UV light knocks these electrons off continuously all day, every day, it does degrade over time. So
Solar panels degrade over
your
time.
efficiency goes,
Well, furthermore, brand new out of the box, they're maybe only 20 to 25% efficient.
right.
So I'm not saying they don't work, they obviously do work. However, at this time in history, they're not
Even good enough.
they're not that amazing.
What ticks me off is like I see 10 ads every day on, don't buy solar panels, call this number and government will buy them for you kind of
Yeah.
thing. So how they're not cheap. Solar panels are not cheap.
No, they're not cheap.
And so the 40, 50 grand that it costs to put something simple up on the roof,
And you need to cover your roof with
Right.
them to power your house. I mean, I'm not saying they don't work. They obviously do work. I'm just saying that they're not that efficient, and they will not get better over time.
no.
They're going to degrade, and you will replace them.
But the whole reason of you installing solar, I don't know anybody on the planet that installed solar panels to save the planet. They did it to reduce their power bill.
Of course.
And it goes the same thing as I say with the gas mileage. I guarantee you, if solar panels reached a certain threshold as far as the number of people that has it, where it's actually hurting the power
Big
companies'
oil, yeah, power companies.
pocketbook, I seriously think your kilowatt per hour
Is
just went up.
Is a better solar panel locked away in a warehouse somewhere? Is there?
I'm sure some kind of technology is better. I mean, how old is the solar panel? Dude,
What-
we had solar power calculators when we were kids.
Absolutely,
It's-
we did. We all did.
It's
It's
same
not new
technology.
technology.
No,
It's not new
it's
technology.
very old.
But what if you or I invented a new, better solar panel?
Right.
And yes, that had the potential to hurt big oil or your local energy company.
Yeah.
Basically, you were dipping into someone else's pond, and hurting their wallet. Um, would that solar panel make it to market? I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Well,
Again, free energy.
government control. So in North Carolina here, by law, if you just had a storage building, literally probably the size of this room,
Yeah.
by law you have to have it connected to the grid.
Yes, you
And
have
so
to.
you
You have to
can't
be connected
you
to
can't even have
the
a
almighty grid.
yeah. So let's say I just by hand built a 2-car garage like storage unit to put my
Work,
toys in, my
workshop.
boat and workshop on the other side, and a
Sure.
big old bass boat in the other one. By law, I cannot physically have solar panels on the roof.
No, you're going to be wired.
And
You're going to be wired to
you,
the grid.
you have
Yeah.
to be connected. And
Yeah.
so all they're going to do, if you run it net zero, I use only my solar power panel. They still have a like some kind of admin fee or something you got to pay every month. Like you never get a power bill of zero
No, you're going to get a electrical bill for something.
because they have administration people there running stuff at the office and printing out your bills and
Oh
accountants.
yeah, sure. There's
So
there's
you're gonna
there's
pay.
literally someone at the power company
Right.
looking at a computer going, "Oh my God, Rodney has a low power draw this week."
Right.
No one's doing that.
So yeah, there's a minimum I bet on a bill
Yeah.
where they're going to make money from you, even if you're not using a just 1 watt of their energy.
Right.
You're still going to pay a certain fee because you're on the grid.
You're on the grid. Okay, medical stuff. Same
Ooh.
thing. Dude,
Medical. There's a lot. I was actually a credentialed dietitian before doing the electrical engineering stuff.
of course.
So boy, I have thoughts on this.
Your little girl's dying of cancer, right?
Right.
Or something. You do your own research, you invent a magic cure for cancer.
Right.
Do you think the AMA is going to, American Medical Association is going to adopt your new line of thinking immediately?
Well, here's
But you save your little girl. It
Right.
worked.
So the government passed, I don't know if it was the NIH, the National Institute of Health, or the FDA that passed a law. And this goes back, we'll circle around again to like big pharma, here's my buddy government.
Big pharma.
They passed a law
absolutely.
saying only a drug can cure, treat, or prevent a disease. So now every time you hear these commercials where blah 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 is good for you, not used, will not cure, treat a disease. So
Right.
they always got this little
You mean
fine print. You
TV
got-
commercials
Yeah.
with drug. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone, but I believe that sort of commercial is illegal in Europe. You may not advertise prescription drugs to the public
Well, think about it. Why are you
But yet we do.
advertising to me?
because it's a business.
I can't
So-
I cannot go to Walmart and physically buy your drug.
I'm not sure I understand.
You're advertising
yes.
something that I have no say so anyway.
Is it so I can go to my doctor and say, "Hey, I saw this thing on TV and I kind of want it,"
Right. And then the doctor
even though it may make me want
the
to
doctor
commit suicide
did
and
his
vomit
job
and-
correctly, he would know about it and say, "Yeah, you need this." Why are you advertising it
Why
to
are
me?
you spending huge money advertising to me these drugs?
Yeah, you want me to do the doctor's job. I'm going to walk into the doctor's office and say, "Hey, I need
Hey, I like this.
Gobalac
Yeah.
or
'Cause
whatever the hell your medicine is
Yeah,
because
because I saw
need
it during halftime on the football game.
Right.
Yeah, I don't get that.
And the athlete that was advertising, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you it'd make me run the 40 in 5 seconds.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, cure for
So-
cancer. We've heard about possible technologies that can, yes, eliminate cancer, not with drugs, not with radioactive stuff, but through other means. I believe something like radio waves, if I remember,
Yeah.
that literally disrupt, explode
Well, if I remember,
cancer cells.
I remember one person. So the physics is every every specific, you want to call it molecule or atom, it could just be one element, or it could be a molecule made up of different elements, has a, it's called natural frequency. So the frequency of
Absolutely.
energy will cause the molecule
Like
or
a micro,
atom to
like a
vibrate.
microwave oven.
Like
kind
a
of thing.
microwave vibrates water.
It does. It excites the molecules. Yes.
And so somebody did research on the actual just tumor cell, and they're essentially the same. Your cancer tumor cells made up the same as my cancer tumor cells.
Yes, they have a vibration.
And so he they had that where that it responds to that one thing.
Like you shatter a wine glass with the opera singer's voice, right?
And it breaks the glass.
Kapow! Yeah,
Right.
you've seen it. We've all
Right.
seen it.
And then the case before that, I think the lead up to that technology was this genius dude that says, I don't need pharmaceuticals to cure cancer. So all he did was use basic biology. So you have some kind of specific white blood cell that
Sure.
that recognizes, hey, that cell's growing a little too fast. So I'm gonna go take care of it.
That's what white blood cells do.
So it specifically targets cancer and nothing else. So
Okay.
he would take your blood sample over a few days or weeks, however much it takes to get the volume he needed,
Enough stuff. Yeah.
and he would extract those cancer cells out and put one atom of gold,
Not cancer cells. White blood.
white
cells.
blood cell.
Yes.
So he would take one atom of gold and inject into that white blood cell,
Okay.
and just do it over for all your cells, and then you come back to the office, bam, he's injecting a mega dose of those white blood cells back into your body. The only difference is they got gold in there
They're
now.
now carrying gold with them. Okay.
And so those cells are happy, they're back in the body, they're going to do what
They're-
they're designed to do.
They're doing their job.
They go to your tumor.
Sure. But
And
now
so-
they've got a piece of gold.
Now
in
they
it.
got gold in it. So now you're having this abnormal large amount of gold located at the tumor. And just like you said with the microwave, so he emits, you stand in this chamber, it's natural frequency of gold, it don't hurt anything but gold. So it heats up and vibrates gold only.
Gold's a
heating up-
superior conductor.
Yeah.
Might that have some electrical conductor? Might that?
Well, metal's probably a little easier, you know. But every substance, this table, everything has a natural frequency.
True.
It's so the gold vibrates, creating
Yes.
heat, so much so that it kills the tumor. And he was having,
Right. Kapow.
yeah, I think it was over 90% success rate.
Yeah. Why would that not work? That makes total sense.
And so, imagine that
No drugs.
he got a knock on the door.
You got to knock on the door.
And-
Yeah. You're not going to do that.
Yeah, he got Nikolai'd. So
The argument is that modern American medicine, let's say, exists not to cure your disease, but to keep you alive while you're fed more pharma stuff. Right.
I used to work for pharmaceutical.
You're
and
not
that-
going to die, but we're not going to exactly fix your problem.
Well, that's the
either.
thing. Pharmaceutical takes the approach of, I'm not going to cure any disease, I'm going to treat the symptoms. So let's say you have
Absolutely,
high
absolutely.
cholesterol, they don't give you a pill you take for 30 days that attacks and fixes what's causing your cholesterol to be high.
Right. Now your arteries are all
They're just
clean.
going to take
Yeah.
this to inhibit cholesterol production or absorption, and you have to take it every day. So every pharmaceutical drug is designed to I'm creating a customer for life. They don't want to cure anything.
Exactly my
They-
point.
yeah.
Exactly my
So
point.
they want that customer for life.
Right. What technologies are out like what you were talking about? What technologies are out there that have not come to light because they work?
Well, think about what was the '80s movie? Was
80s
it Honey's? I Shrunk the Kids, where they shrunk and went inside the body
Yeah.
and stuff. So I remember reading these articles on nanobots. They would have nanobots,
Yes,
right? That you could
nanobots.
put in your body, and yeah, if you had cancer, it would go kill
I'm
the
not
tumor
sure
and stuff.
I'm on board with that whole idea, but yeah, I
But-
get it. I get it.
I don't think it'll ever happen.
There was a 1950s movie along that same line.
Inner Space.
No, Incredible Voyage. Oh yeah, Inner Space was another one. They shrunk the dude.
Yeah.
He goes inside,
Yeah.
does his thing.
But that's that to me hits home because I'm in that field
Yeah.
and I've done it where I'm not allowed to help people. Like here in North Carolina, you have to actually do what I did: go to a credentialed school,
Sure.
get your bachelor's degree.
You need a license to do.
Yeah, and then you
what
got to
you're
take a board exam to get letters behind your name, just so you could tell somebody, "Hey, broccoli's
Well,
good for you. Eat your broccoli."
That's
Otherwise, you
that's
get in
good
trouble.
advice. Yeah. Otherwise, you get in trouble.
Right.
So you can't legally offer that advice as a dietitian because at this moment your
My
credentials are not up to
expired.
speed.
Yeah, I let them
Okay.
expire.
Well, but I can say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, eat your broccoli. I think it's a good idea. How about vitamin therapy? Is that quackery?
Going back
'Cause-
to cancer,
Because we want to avoid quackery. However, we want to explore technologies that do work that are not coming to see the light of day because someone else doesn't
right.
like it.
Well, that's something like everybody research everything we say. Don't take my word as
Oh,
the
please,
gospel.
ladies and gentlemen,
But-
please research
But
on your own.
I know cancer, if anybody out there has it, I would tell them to research the vitamin C drip. So you get an IV,
I keep hearing about vitamin C for
So-
almost everything.
you get a preservative-free vitamin C in a bag, and you IV line, which any fire station has a paramedic or something. Oh, where I come from, and
Dude, you're getting a
there's
little weird on me
these
here.
fire stations or whatever. You could pay them $5-10, and they would literally come hook up a IV line to you. Like if you wanted dehydrated fluid bag, sure. Under the table, yeah. But it's the same concept. If you could get someone
Are
to
you for real?
yeah. So you could get an IV line, get your preservative-free vitamin C, hang it on the rack, watch the boob tube some, and have that drip in your body, and it has
You're gonna-
drastic good results.
You're going to mainline vitamin C.
Yeah. It has been shown to do
And
great.
somehow Johnny Fireman is going to enable this. I'm not so sure.
I may or may not have witnessed such great things back home.
Okay. Okay,
So-
fair enough.
So small town versus big town, maybe. Everybody knows everybody.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but the health field it's corrupt as hell, dude.
I think the health field, as you said, is corrupt as hell.
Right. And so we'll see what happens.
Look, you go for a doctor's appointment, and the next thing you know, you've got 5 referrals to
Right.
other doctors.
Well, I think
They're very kind to themselves.
did Trump, is it RFK? Who did he put in charge of the health?
Oh, I don't
I
know.
can't remember.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
He's appointed somebody, and I'm kind of looking forward to see what they do with it.
Interesting.
And so, I don't know. Like, so we talked about like, I'm gonna call it the big three, the government back pocket stuff.
Yeah.
So let's come up with some like kooky, like stuff like I've never heard of what you're talking about. Like,
Right.
do you have
Wackadoodle.
anything? Yeah, do you have anything
Wackadoodle,
like
yeah.
that story or stuff that people may not have heard of?
All right, I got a good one I found out about. All right. A priest in the 1950s or 60s allegedly invented a device called the chronovisor, right?
I think I remember this.
Look it up, please, ladies and gentlemen. Chronovisor. And this device worked by, I'm not going to pretend I understand it, but receiving echoes of events from the past. Yes, we're getting a little weird here. Anyway, the priest in question was able to witness past events in history, like the crucifixion of Christ, blah, 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 all sorts of things. Well, that device, and there are witnesses to having seen this device in operation and have attested to that. Well, That device is apparently now in the Vatican
I
archives,
do remember seeing, yeah, it was
never
one of
to
them
see the light of day. And in fact, peripheral evidence is that the Catholic Church has threatened any inventor of a similar device with excommunication from the church. Now, maybe that's not exactly the threat that it once was.
It'll be a
but
little more than that, I bet. Like what we talked about.
Men in Black type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
fine.
can't have something like that come out. I mean, if you could go back
If
and
you
look
could
at
question
who killed
history,
JFK and all this stuff where you could find out.
can you witness events from history though? The device did not work
Right.
into the future. No echoes
Right.
have been created yet.
Right.
However, you could look into the past.
But that's what I hear a lot of people say. You can view the past, you can't interact, you can't change it, but you can view it. And so maybe so.
Well, that's what this was. Chronovisor, time seer,
Mm-hmm.
right? Chrono, time, blah, 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 blah.
That would be so
It's
cool.
literally a seer. Television for the past.
Right.
Is that a thing?
I've read about it. I mean,
Please look it
think
up.
about,
Chronovisor.
man, if something like that got released.
Could you go back and witness events of history and maybe take another look at something that's in the history books?
Well, let's imagine if there was a agency that had that, maybe it would keep everybody straight. Oh, I can't do this because these people have that. They could look last week at what I did and get caught. So you could use it as like a police force.
Blackmail thing. Oh, police force. Okay.
Enforce. Hey,
Oh,
don't-
Minority Report kind of
Yeah,
thing.
ooh. We're not gonna get it. Dude, that's a
Okay,
whole,
I'm just
that's-
saying.
We could do a show on that though.
What if you had a questionable background or whatever,
Right.
but you're running for serious political office or maybe serious boardroom business
Right.
kind of thing, and people were able to have a look at your past?
Ooh.
Dear God.
Well, so. This ain't necessarily like a technology. It's more of something people supposedly can train theirself to do. Edgar Casey. does
Edgar
he ring a
Casey,
bell?
of course, yes.
He was claims to be like one of the better people, like the remote viewing.
Ah,
so
remote
if I could-
viewing.
If I could like close my eyes right now and go see what so and so's doing
Is remote
across the
viewing a
street,
thing?
yeah, and say, hey, oh crap, my girlfriend's cheating on me. I can see her going to lunch with somebody.
Does it
Like-
work to that level of
Well, see,
precision?
people think, okay, so people's going to think we're crazy talking about remote viewing and how
we're just
you can
talking.
leave your
We're
body
just
in
talking
trouble.
here. Yeah.
But they need to research this. The government did not think it was kooky. And so the government hired some of these people. You may know more about it than I do, that to find missing stuff and
That is accurate. Yes, remote viewing. Look it up. I know it's been talked about. I don't recall exactly the names of the people involved, but I understand that this very much was a secret government thing and was perfected to a level where remote viewers could. I'm not going to pretend I understand exactly how it works, but they could visualize distant places and things to the level where they were able to provide intelligence for military operations to perform a specific operation.
that's
Can you
That's-
do that?
it's not a technology, but
It's not.
damn, think of the power though.
My understanding is it's a skill that
'Cause
one
how-
might learn.
How it's the best spy technology that would exist, right?
Oh, that's wild,
Satellites
yeah.
can get shot down. I can see if you're hovering a plane or a drone, all this stuff in my airspace, right? I use radar to detect it, but how can you detect a remote viewer, like if it's whatever you want to call it, your soul or whatever is hanging out in your boardroom while you discuss how we're going to start World War III and bomb the United States or something? Like, how does this work? Like,
I don't have that skill, but
but if it's
the
real,
military has awarded medals to certain individuals who allegedly performed these tasks because they did it with such precision and completeness that the military was able to base operations on what they learned.
That to me, I was a hard sell until you said that. Like, does it exist? I was going to say no, maybe. But if the government has
it's
done
kooky. It's kooky. I'm with you there.
but if the government's handed awards and
No,
it's a recognized
legit medals, but by the way, the reason for that award is not publicly disclosed. However,
I think so. They got to keep it sealed.
yeah,
Somehow.
no. However, the individual is allowed to wear the medal.
Right. You
And
just
if-
can't tell what you did to get
Right.
it.
If someone inquires about what you do, what are you doing with that ribbon? I'm sorry, I can't tell you.
Yeah. Wow.
There it is.
How about that, huh?
Remote viewing.
So that opened this actually opened up a few avenues we could probably do a whole nother show on.
Oh, we could dive much deeper into this little rabbit hole.
And,
Either free energy, oil technology,
right,
medicine. I mean, you can take it in any direction you want, really.
right. But I think it
But there are technologies out there that are not available to you and me because someone has deemed that we're not going to have them,
right.
either for military strategic reasons or just because we're going to hurt someone's wallet.
That's pretty sad. I think maybe like you get all these the hippie movement and they say that mankind will either die or we will essentially get to the point where we do live as kind of like a community where
Peaceful.
everything is done to
Better humanity.
mankind.
Yes. I'm not sure we're going to get there.
We're so far away from that now. Like looking at just what we talked about today and off the top of our heads, we're so far away from that.
We are very far away
Is that
from
even
that.
capable
No,
to get to?
I'm a bit of a pessimist on that subject. I'm not even going to go that route, but right, either we make it or we don't.
Yeah.
And the way things are going, I see a lot of roadblocks to getting to world community kind of thing.
Yeah,
we are not there.
Man, I don't know how you transition.
Poverty, sickness, war, the list goes
Right.
on and on.
Yeah, how do you get from where we are now, where government and these big
Information.
companies and all this stuff, like they're in each other's back pocket from donations and law, passed us
Oh.
law and stuff. Like, how do we
Don't try
get
and
rid of
convince
that?
me that big business does not influence government.
Yeah. Well, that's what we need to
Officials.
do. Maybe we did an episode on immigration day one.
Yes.
Maybe we should do an episode of other stuff we would do. Like, we took
Okay.
in the White House, because God knows there's a big list of stuff I want to do on day one. Like, maybe we could do some more topics.
Well, the immigration podcast was really good because we ended up scratching our heads a bunch.
I went into that podcast black
That
and
was
white.
surprising, yeah.
Deportation.
Oh, I
yes.
thought it was going to be sewn up.
Yeah,
and
deportation. It's got to happen. Get
Here-
rid of illegals. And then by the end of the show, I'm like, I don't know if it's possible.
yeah, how is that going to happen? No, I don't know. So, same kind of thing here. How are we going to fix suppressed technology? I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that.
Right. So,
I think there's just a lot of roadblocks in the way.
yeah, maybe you have to trickle it out to where it don't shut down a major workforce.
I think
Then
it's
collapse.
more like someone's pocketbook.
Right. But it's built up. Like, just look at Walmart. If Walmart, for whatever reason, closed its doors tomorrow, how many jobs?
Okay, I absolutely see your point. I'm just not sure what we're talking about is about jobs. I think it's about.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. Like, what would be a negative if one of these organizations says, "Sure, have at it. You don't need me anymore."
Okay.
Like if tomorrow there was free energy, just have this
Nikola
device.
Tesla,
You
free
could
energy for everyone.
Set this little stop in your yard,
And you get free energy.
and you get free energy tomorrow. Like,
I doubt that will be allowed to happen.
But if it did, just you're instantly having millions of people unemployed now. All your linesmen,
Linemen.
all this stuff.
Well, we don't want to hurt them because they're trying to put food on the table for their family.
Right, and they're doing what they need to do. I mean, it's not their fault.
It's absolutely not their fault.
It's their boss's boss, right? It's the people up top that are lobbying the government and
Yeah.
doing the bar trips and the trips with the government people and doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I think that's what we would have to do, and I think if we did that, and that's something me and you can do, is voice and unite the people to let's just go end lobbying. If we ended lobbying in the government, I think it's going to be my takeaway from this, from what we said today.
I don't think lobbying is going to go away. I think there's a
it's
lot
not.
of money involved in that.
Yeah.
So if there's a lot of money involved in something, it's not going to go
Right.
away.
But I think that's something
Where-
us as the people, maybe if we had a candidate that says, hey, I'm anti-lobbying, and you got two or more that pops up and
That
says,
would
hey,
be earth-shaking.
and we can start being like, I don't care about any other views.
Let's
If
do
you're
something for
anti-lobbying,
humanity.
Yeah,
Do something for humanity.
right. Let's get rid of these people controlling what's released.
Oil, pharma,
Yeah.
technology,
maybe-
data,
Yeah.
big data companies. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we should, yeah. Well, that's going to be my takeaway from it, at least.
Okay. Well, people, do your own research. Please, you can listen to us, but we heartily encourage you to do your own research. Look up Chronovisor, look up Nikola Tesla and free energy, pharma stuff. Please look it
Yeah,
all
look
up.
up all the health stuff we brought up.
Research. Yeah.
Right. And maybe do another episode on the, maybe do some more day one stuff coming up.
Absolutely.
And
Oh, yeah.
so-
Day one stuff. Yeah.
So we'll wrap it up with that. And as always, like, subscribe. If you have any show ideas, me and G love to hear, like, if y'all really want to do a topic, let us know. We'll
Let's
do
hear
it.
some fun topics. And
so,
furthermore, our next show is going to be.
Oh, okay. So I know it's going to be a thing. I'm a pretty big 80s junkie,
I think many of us are.
and I personally think the movies were better back then. So
Wild
Why?
80s action movies.
80s movies. So maybe we'll chit chat and see what made the 80s good. So we'll get into that. We're going to do a
What
whole
made
show.
it fun? Yeah.
And it's going to be a different personality. It will probably be a little more loose, not so serious, because it's going to be
This is going to be a fun
episode.
one. Absolutely.
And so, yeah,
Fun,
if
fun.
y'all are 80s junkies, you'll definitely want to see that one.
You know what? Leave a comment about what 80s movie would you want us to investigate, or at least talk about.
Yeah, I would love to hear from the people and what's their
You and I have our laundry list, but let someone else help complete it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, trust me, crowd. We got the Arnold.
Arnold.
We got the Arnold movies already.
Jawohl. Yeah.
So we'll harp on the Arnold train and do all the.
Stallone Train.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely discuss the big stars, but maybe there's some
help
little
us out,
lesser
folks.
known
Yeah, help us out,
people.
folks.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. So drop a comment, let us know.
Yes, sir.
G, always a pleasure, buddy.
Absolutely.
So
My
we'll
pleasure.
see y'all again next time on the next episode. Thank you.
Absolutely. Y'all take care.